Welcome to the Scholar Snapp webinar to learn more about a solution that makes it faster and easier for students to apply for scholarships. My name is Kevin Byrne, and I'm with the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation that developed this solution and is supporting its broader adoption across admission, financial aid, and scholarship applications. We also have Julie Reams on the call, who is managing our partnerships for Scholar Snapp and will help manage any questions. Throughout the webinar, you will be able to ask questions to all panelists in the Q&A tab in the bottom right of the WebEx window. If you have any technical issues during the webinar, please contact us using the chat feature on the right-hand side in the middle of your screen. Scholar Snapp is a free, simple-to-use solution that allows students to reuse their application information. It's easy. Students enter their information once and use Scholar Snapp to streamline their multiple applications. It's secure with data encryption to ensure the highest level of data privacy. And it's safe in that student data will never be sold or used for marketing. It is also free. There are no account fees, no storage fees, and no fees to adopt and implement the solution. We produced this 90-second video to give students an overview of what Scholar Snapp can do for them.
You want to go to college, but it's expensive. You need scholarship money, but you know it will take a lot of time to fill out all of those applications. In fact, you stayed up all night filling out one scholarship application. You wonder if every scholarship application will take you this long, and if so, where will you find the time to complete them all? It's like having extra homework every night. Instead of spending all that time retyping your basic information, name, address, email, birthday, and so on, what if you could enter that information once and then store it in one place in the cloud? And even better, what if you could reuse that content by snapping your basic information directly into other scholarship and college applications with one simple click? The Scholar Snapp solution is the key to reusing your application data so you have more time to focus on the unique parts of the application, such as essays. After all, your basic information isn't what sets you apart from the competition. And you want those reviewing your application to get to know the real you, right? Not only does the Scholar Snapp solution save all your profile, transcripts, financial, and family background information, it also saves your original written content, from application essays to interview questions. Fill out common questions once and quickly snap your data into any application that works with Scholar Snapp. It will automatically fill your content into their application, but only after you give permission. The Scholar Snapp solution just made applying for scholarships faster and easier. Apply for more scholarships and increase your chances to win more money in a snap. Get started now at scholarsnapp.org.
We developed Scholar Snapp back in 2008 through our Dell Scholars program, which is a college scholarship for Pell-eligible students. We realized that tens of thousands of students applied for our scholarship, spent countless hours on completing a robust application, and only 400 scholarships were awarded each year. We wanted to do more for all of those students in need. We knew the information we were asking of students was virtually the same type of information every other scholarship application was asking them: basic personal, academic, financial, and income information, as well as numerous essays. When we mapped several dozen scholarship applications, we realized a high degree of overlap of information, and so Scholar Snapp was born. We developed a partnership with the National Scholarship Providers Association back in 2008, then developed a partnership with the Common Application in 2014. In 2016, we created a fully functioning website, scholarsnapp.org, developed an application program interface for easier technical integration, and we've grown from just 3 partners to more than 100 partners this year. In the past 8 months, more than 277,000 students have created profiles on scholarsnapp.org. The value for Scholar Snapp for students is tremendous. It's a time savings in that the application students are completing for scholarships, financial aid, and admissions are asking for similar information that they have already provided. With Scholar Snapp, students don't have to spend several hours on each application essentially doing data entry. It allows students to focus on the areas that truly distinguish them from other applicants. With Scholar Snapp, students can auto-complete their information and then review and customize that information for each application. Students have more time to customize their responses rather than spending all that time just typing it in. It allows students to apply for more scholarships and grant programs. Part of the barrier, especially for low-income students, is time. They have the normal time constraints of a student applying to or attending school, but they often are working a job or two in addition, while also balancing a high level of responsibility for their family and siblings. Scholar Snapp lowers that barrier to enable more low-income students to complete scholarship and financial aid applications. Some key features are it stores more than 300+ fields and multiple profiles. The fields include essays, recommendations, and even video uploads, so it's much more than just name and address. It's flexible enough to synchronize just a few data elements within an application or many data elements. And again, it includes a website where students can practice building their best application. The value to adopters of Scholar Snapp is that it can help autocomplete and move the data across multiple programs or departments that you work with. For those providing scholarships or financial aid, it helps students find other sources of aid which can help your dollars stretch further. It is an easy technical integration that is not a huge burden of time or money on your end, and it provides a better user experience for students applying to your programs and institutions. It's also helpful to mention what Scholar Snapp does not do. It does not award any scholarships or financial aid directly, does not share any data without permission, does not charge any membership or account fees, does not directly match applicants to scholarships, and does not sell any data, anytime, anywhere. This slide references a recent article in Fast Company that highlighted the digital divide that can put low-income students at a disadvantage when going through all of the application processes for scholarships, college, and financial aid. The example given of having to fill out your college application in a 30-minute window on a public library computer is a powerful one. Many low-income students may lack access to a desktop or laptop to complete applications, so they resort to mobile devices or shared or borrowed computers. That can mean applying to fewer schools or only to safe local choices where friends are applying and the process is more familiar. Scholar Snapp can allow students to complete multiple applications even within that 30-minute window and streamline mobile interactions. There are many ways a student can utilize Scholar Snapp. The point is, once students enter their data once, they should be able to use Scholar Snapp to move that data around. Students could start at Common App, a compliant scholarship provider like Dell Scholars, Coca-Cola Scholars, or Betcher. And if students have not started anywhere else, they can create their first profile directly on scholarsnapp.org and then export that data to any other compliant sites. We thought it would be helpful to walk you through one of those pathways of how a student applying using the Common Application for college admissions would connect with Scholar Snapp. When a student is on the Common App, they will see a tab they can click on to access financial aid resources. When they click on that tab, they will see this screen to explore scholarship opportunities through Scholar Snapp. They can then click the button highlighted at the bottom of the screen to create an account on the scholarsnapp.org website. Once they register through the screen on the left, they will see the screen on the right to give permission to have their data from Common App transferred to scholarsnapp.org and stored in their profile to access later. They will receive confirmation from Common App that their information has been successfully transferred to scholarsnapp.org. Once the student has an account at scholarsnapp.org, they can then reuse that information to complete other applications. Now we will walk you through how that side of the process works. When a student is on a Scholar Snapp partner site, they will see an option, generally at the registration phase, to sign in with their Scholar Snapp profile. These screens show how a student coming in from a scholarship application site would log into their profile on scholarsnap.org and then authorize their data to be sent to the partner site. In this use case, the student is on a site that manages multiple applications. The student will then see a listing of scholarships and can click on the programs they want to apply to. They will then be taken to that application page where they can see the status of each section of that application and can then click into each section to review and update any information that they desire. Finally, when they want to sync their data back to scholarsnap.org, they will see their most up-to-date profile as well as multiple past profiles in case they want to maintain many profiles or just one. We've given you a brief overview of how a student can use Scholar Snapp to complete applications, and we want to highlight a few things that are coming up for Scholar Snapp in the next few months. While we currently have more than 100 scholarship programs that are Scholar Snapp compliant, we will be onboarding an additional 300 over this next year, giving students many more places to access additional scholarships and financial aid to help them be successful in getting to and through college. We also have an updated version of the standard that we are releasing this summer. This version will include updated test scores changes, more choices for multiple student groups, improved documentation for your developers to make adoption easier, improving the list of values for greater flexibility, adding an additional counselor field, and removing unused fields to keep the solution efficient. In addition, we are adding improved FAFSA data elements from students' FAFSA forms, adding additional essay types, adding the option for a weighted GPA, as well as an improved listing of college readiness programs and basic improvements for navigation and ease of use. This slide lists some of our current partners, and we would love for you to join us as a partner. We hope we've convinced you of the ways Scholar Snapp can make not only the scholarship and financial aid application process easier, but all college application processes easier. If you're a scholarship or a grant program, are in admissions at a college or university, or are managing any type of college application, we'd like to work with you on making the application process easier for your students. How can you partner with Scholar Snapp? By encouraging your students to use Scholar Snapp through the Common App and directly on scholarsnap.org. By integrating internal applications across departments for other scholarships for students that can autocomplete using their existing profiles. For example, departments that manage their own scholarships and grants within your institutions would be ideal candidates to utilize Scholar Snapp. You also can keep in touch with us by signing up for our newsletter at news.scholarsnap.org. In the few minutes we have left, we will answer some of the questions that have been submitted during the webinar. If we do not get to your question in time, we will follow up with you directly to get you the information you need and answer all of your questions. And of course, we're available to answer questions via email anytime at partnerships@scholarsnap.org. Again, as a reminder, you may submit questions by typing them in the Q&A tab in the bottom right of the WebEx window. So one of the questions we've gotten is that we do not want to change our scholarship application software. Will Scholar Snapp change our application? Scholar Snapp does not change any of your current software or processes. You can keep your current software and your application the way you like. The only thing involved would be mapping your data fields, but again, your software and processes stay exactly the same. Another question is, our application is unique. How can we use Scholar Snapp and not use your common application? So to clarify, Scholar Snapp is not a common application. It's flexible enough to work with common application platforms like Common App, as well as each individual application. That's the beauty of using a solution like Scholar Snapp, is it allows you to keep your own unique application and maintains the most flexibility for your program. Let's see. Another question is, do students who use Scholar Snapp have to start at Common App? No, students can start anywhere. The point is, once students enter their data once, they should be able to use Scholar Snapp to move that data around. Students can start at Common App. They can start at a compliant scholarship provider like Dell Scholars, Coca-Cola Scholars, or Betcher. And if students have not started anywhere else, again, they can create the profile at scholarsnapp.org and then find other scholarships and financial aid applications to apply that way. Another question is, we might use a new technology vendor in the next few years. If we integrate Scholar Snapp on our current application, will it transfer to our new one? So Scholar Snapp will transfer easily to your new application. Once the fields of your current application are mapped, it's easy to transfer and share that mapping with any new vendor you may use in the future. Okay, this next question we get a lot of how many hours or weeks of technical time will our staff need to prepare for to integrate Scholar Snapp? The integration estimate really is only about 8 hours to a week of work. The difference is generally due to familiarity with technologies involved. So for those of you who are technical on the call, if your developers are already familiar with OAuth 2 security, JSON APIs, and XML files, then it's likely the lower end of the range. If nobody knows what that means, it's probably best if we connect with your technical team. But if you're integrating with a legacy system using enterprise technology, that also could take a few additional hours, but so far all the integrations have gone very smoothly and quickly. We've also reduced the development time this year by improving the technical documentation that I mentioned is updated in the new version of the standard that's released this summer. And again, we'd be happy to talk directly to your development team and connect them with our technical team here. Any other questions? Okay, so just a reminder that one is, how do I find out if my application is able to integrate with Scholar Snapp? Again, just email us at this email address on the screen, partnerships@scholarsnapp.org, and we will have our technical team reach out and figure out next steps. So we want to be respectful of your time, so we'll follow up directly with those of you whose questions we did not have time to get to. Thank you for attending today's webinar. We will follow up with an email with additional information, and please don't hesitate to email us directly at partnerships@scholarsnapp.org in the meantime. Thank you for learning more about Scholar Snapp, and feel free to visit us at www.scholarsnapp.org.